All right, so today we're diving into gold IRAs.
Excellent topic.
It seems like a lot of our listeners are thinking about moving for retirement,
Right.
especially to states without income tax,
Yeah.
and wondering, how gold kind of fits into all of this.
Yeah.
So we've got some really fascinating stuff to unpack.
Looking forward to it.
So just for starters, what is a gold IRA?
Well, a gold IRA is a way to hold physical gold
Okay.
in your retirement savings.
Okay, so instead of stocks and bonds,
Exactly.
you have actual gold,
Uh-huh.
like Fort Knox in miniature.
Kind of, yeah. It offers a way to have a tangible asset
Okay.
with a proven track record of stability,
Mhm.
especially in times of economic turmoil.
So during the 2008 financial crisis,
A great example.
when stocks just plummeted,
Yeah,
gold actually increased in value
it did.
and provided a safety net for investors.
Right.
So this kind of goes into diversification, which our source material really hammered on about.
Yeah, it's so important.
So you're not putting all your eggs in one basket,
Exactly.
but is it really that crucial?
Yeah, absolutely. You see, stocks can be so volatile.
Mm-hmm.
And even bonds, which are generally considered safer, sometimes don't deliver the returns that people are looking for.
Right.
So adding an asset like gold to your portfolio, which historically has shown very little correlation with the stock market, it can really act as a buffer
Gotcha.
to minimize those potential losses.
So it's like a backup generator.
Yeah.
When the power grid goes down,
Exactly.
you're not left in the dark.
Right.
So how about taxes?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Where do gold IRAs fall when it comes to taxes?
So gold IRAs provide the same advantage of tax-deferred growth,
Okay.
similarly to a traditional IRA.
Right.
So this means your investment will grow tax-free until you take distributions in retirement.
Gotcha.
And if you opt for a Roth Gold IRA, you contribute after-tax dollars, and then your qualified withdrawals in retirement would be completely tax-free.
Tax-free is always good. That's music to my ears.
Absolutely.
Okay. But before I get ahead of myself, can we just break down how these accounts work?
Yeah, of course.
Like the nuts and bolts of it.
So you'd first open a self-directed IRA with a custodian.
Okay.
And these custodians specialize in precious metals.
Sure.
They handle all of the administrative aspects
Okay.
of the account.
So they kind of act as the guardian for your gold.
Exactly.
Okay.
Then you fund it, and there are a couple of options for doing that.
Okay.
You can do direct contributions,
Mm-hmm.
roll over assets from an existing IRA,
Okay.
or even transfer funds from a 401k.
Mm-hmm.
But each option has its own tax implications.
Okay, so you really want to weigh those carefully.
Right.
Okay, so I've got the account set up, it's funded.
Mm-hmm.
Now what?
Now, you will work with your custodian
Okay.
to actually purchase the gold.
Mm-hmm.
That meets IRS standards.
Okay.
So it has to meet IRS regulations to qualify for the gold IRA.
So not just any gold will do.
Right.
Gotcha.
And then the IRS mandates
Okay.
that the gold held in a gold IRA has to be stored in an approved depository.
No stashing under the mattress.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense, but what is a depository?
A depository is a high-security facility
Okay.
designed specifically for storing precious metals.
Mm-hmm.
They have all sorts of robust security measures, insurance, and meticulous tracking systems.
Wow, so like Fort Knox, but for IRAs.
You got it.
Wow, that's reassuring.
Yeah.
Okay, so our sources list a bunch of benefits to gold IRAs.
Uh-huh.
Are these genuine advantages?
Absolutely. The benefits align perfectly with your focus on relocation
Mm-hmm.
and tax optimization.
Okay.
So one of the biggest benefits is the fact that gold often moves inversely to the dollar.
Okay, yeah.
So if inflation eats away at the dollar's purchasing power, as many economists fear, the value of your gold could go up.
Hmm.
So it's a classic hedge against inflation.
It's like a built-in balancing act
Exactly.
for your portfolio.
Right.
But if these gold IRAs are so great, why aren't they more mainstream?
That's a great question.
Are there downsides?
There are some misconceptions
Okay.
that scare people off.
Okay.
So one common myth is that they're overly complex and expensive.
Mm-hmm.
But in reality, the fees associated with gold IRAs are generally comparable to those of traditional IRAs.
Okay.
Of course, you need to choose a reputable custodian
Right.
with transparent pricing,
Yeah.
but the cost shouldn't be a deterrent.
Okay. I guess any financial product
Yeah,
can seem complicated if you don't have the right guidance.
for sure.
And our source also mentions that not all gold IRAs are created equal.
Very true.
So
Choosing the right custodian is paramount.
Yeah.
Do your research,
Mm-hmm.
look at their reputation,
Yeah.
their track record, their fee structure.
Gotcha.
Don't be afraid to ask questions, compare different providers, and choose one that you feel comfortable with.
It's a long-term investment, so
It is.
you want to make sure that you feel good about it.
Absolutely.
Okay, speaking of due diligence, our source had this big flashing scam alert sign.
Yeah.
Are there really shady operators targeting people who are interested in gold IRAs?
Unfortunately, yes.
Okay.
There are unscrupulous individuals out there who prey on people,
Mm-hmm.
seeking alternative investments.
Yeah.
They might try to pressure you into buying overpriced or non-compliant gold, promising unrealistic returns.
Okay.
And that's why it's so important to only work with certified custodians and reputable dealers who specialize in precious metals for IRAs.
Okay, so choosing your partners wisely.
Exactly.
I guess the same applies to any financial decision.
It really does.
Okay, before we delve further, I think it would be really helpful to look at some real-life examples.
Yeah, good idea.
Our source had a couple of case studies of individuals who successfully incorporated gold IRAs into their retirement plan.
I think those would be really helpful.
So we'll be back in a jiffy to explore those.
Sounds good.
Stay tuned.
Welcome back. It's great to dive into these examples. Our source highlighted a couple who really caught my eye.
Yeah, I thought Jane's story was really interesting, relocating from California to Texas
Right.
to get that zero income tax. That's a bold move.
It is.
I'm guessing that's where the gold IRA came into play.
Exactly. So Jane was concerned about rising inflation.
Yeah, makes sense.
And she wanted to make sure that her purchasing power stayed strong.
Especially in retirement.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So rolling over her 401k into a gold IRA allowed her to diversify, hedge against inflation, and capitalize on the potential for gold to increase in value if the dollar weakens.
So it's like turning a potential challenge inflation into an opportunity.
Right.
Now, John's story also resonated with me. He lived through the 2008 crash.
Yeah,
I can only imagine how unsettling that must have been,
absolutely.
especially when you're thinking about retirement.
It was a wake-up call for a lot of investors.
Yeah.
So he realized the importance of diversifying.
Beyond traditional stocks and bonds.
Right.
So by adding gold to his portfolio, he was looking to create that safety net,
Yeah.
that buffer against future market volatility.
He was prioritizing stability and peace of mind.
And that peace of mind is priceless.
It is.
These case studies are really great, but they also make me wonder, are there specific types of gold you can hold in a gold IRA?
Yeah, that's a really good question.
Can you just buy any gold coin off the street?
No, absolutely not. The IRS has very specific standards
Okay.
for the gold to be eligible.
Okay.
So they want to ensure that the gold maintains its value and integrity within the retirement framework.
Mm-hmm.
For example, American Gold Eagle coins and Canadian Gold Maple Leaf coins.
Okay.
Those are very popular and meet those standards.
So there's a level of quality control,
Exactly.
which brings up another question.
Yeah.
The depositories. Can you elaborate a little bit more about what these IRS-approved depositories actually are?
They're basically Fort Knox, but specifically designed for storing precious metals held in IRAs. They're heavily guarded facilities with robust security measures, insurance coverage, and meticulous tracking systems to ensure the safety and accountability of every ounce of gold.
That's a relief.
Yeah,
So you know it's safe and sound.
right.
Now, I'm always concerned about taxes.
Of course.
So what are the tax implications of having a gold IRA?
So one of the great advantages, just like with traditional IRAs, is tax-deferred growth.
Okay.
Essentially, you don't pay taxes on any gains your gold makes until you start taking distributions in retirement.
Gotcha.
So your investment grows tax-free.
So it's like a tax shelter for your retirement savings.
Right.
But you would eventually have to pay taxes when you withdraw the money.
That's true for traditional gold IRAs.
Okay.
However, there's also the Roth Gold IRA, which
Okay.
offers another advantage.
Okay.
So you contribute after-tax dollars.
Mhm.
But when you take qualified withdrawals in retirement, they are tax-free.
Whoa. Tax-free withdrawals in retirement? That's
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah.
Okay, so Roth Gold IRAs can be a powerful tool,
Yeah.
especially when you're trying to minimize that tax burden in retirement.
Absolutely. Of course, everyone's situation is different.
Right.
So it's always wise to consult with a tax advisor.
To figure out the best strategy.
Right.
Now, all of this sounds pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Are there any downsides, red flags people should be aware of when they're considering a gold IRA?
As with any investment, there are potential pitfalls. You're right to be cautious.
Okay.
One red flag is high-pressure sales tactics.
Okay.
If a company is really pushing you to make a quick decision without giving you time to research or ask questions, that's a warning sign.
So they're trying to rush you into a decision before you can think clearly.
Exactly.
That's a classic tactic.
Another red flag is a lack of transparency about fees.
Okay.
Make sure you understand the full pricing structure up front. This includes setup fees, annual maintenance fees, storage fees, and any other potential charges.
So it's not just about the price of gold.
Right.
There are other costs involved.
Exactly.
Okay. What about the scam alerts we were talking about earlier?
Yeah.
How can people protect themselves from shady operators?
Always verify that the gold you're purchasing meets IRS standards.
Okay.
Don't just take their word for it.
Do your research.
Exactly. Work only with certified custodians and reputable dealers who specialize in precious metals for IRAs.
So you're saying it's really important to not take any shortcuts.
Don't fall for unrealistic promises.
Okay, so someone's done their research.
Yeah.
They've avoided the red flags. They're ready to take the plunge.
Uh-huh.
What are the practical steps to get started with a gold IRA?
It's actually more straightforward than you might think.
Okay.
The first step is to research different gold IRA providers.
Okay.
Compare their fees, storage options, customer service, read online reviews, check their ratings with the Better Business Bureau.
So it's like choosing any other service.
Ex-
You want to find a provider that you feel comfortable with.
Exactly. Once you've narrowed down your options, schedule consultations with a few providers,
Mm-hmm.
and this is your chance to ask questions
Okay.
about their experience, their process, and their fees. Don't be afraid to ask tough questions.
So you want to make sure they have good customer service.
Absolutely. You don't want to feel like you're dealing with a used car salesman.
Okay.
Once you've chosen a provider that you're comfortable with, they'll guide you through the process of actually setting up your gold IRA.
Okay.
This includes funding the account, purchasing your gold, and arranging for storage in that IRS-approved depository.
So they pretty much hold your hand through the whole thing.
Yeah, they handle all the logistical details.
Okay, so that makes it a lot easier,
Yes,
especially if you're new to this type of investing.
it does.
Are there any other key takeaways or insights you want to highlight before we move on?
It's vital to remember that gold IRAs are not a magic bullet. They're a tool that can help you achieve your retirement goals, but they should be part of a broader strategy.
Yeah.
And as we've discussed, thorough research and careful provider selection are so important.
So don't rush into anything.
Right.
Take your time and weigh those pros and cons.
Exactly.
All right, we'll be right back for the final part of our gold IRA exploration.
Sounds good.
Stay tuned. All right, we're back. I've got to say, learning about all this has been really eye-opening.
Glad to hear it.
But I still have one question.
Okay.
We've covered a lot of ground. You know, the mechanics, the benefits, the downsides. But why gold? Why has it held value for centuries?
Well, that's the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
You know, gold has this allure.
Okay.
It goes beyond just its practical uses.
You mean more than just jewelry and electronics?
Exactly. Throughout history, it's been a symbol of wealth and power
Okay.
and stability.
Mhm.
You know, it's a finite resource,
Yeah,
unlike paper currency, which can just be endlessly printed and devalued.
right.
Gold has this tangible worth.
It's like a hedge against uncertainty,
Exactly.
like a safe haven during turmoil.
You got it.
It's kind of like a psychological anchor in a chaotic world.
I like that. Think back to how gold performed during 2008.
Oh, yeah.
When everything else was falling apart, gold held strong.
It's like having a piece of history in your portfolio.
Yeah.
That sense of stability is reassuring.
Absolutely. And remember, you're not just investing in gold, you're investing in a strategy. You know, when a gold IRA is incorporated into a retirement plan,
Yeah.
it can really help mitigate risk, hedge against inflation.
So you're not putting all your eggs in one basket,
Exactly.
just strategically allocating some of your savings.
Right. And remember, do your due diligence.
Right.
Vet those providers. Understand the fees. Make sure you're comfortable.
So knowledge is power.
It really is.
Yeah.
The more informed you are, the better decisions you can make.
Couldn't agree more. Any final thoughts for our listeners as they embark on their retirement planning adventures?
Embrace the process. Don't let it overwhelm you. Break it down into those little steps.
Okay.
Seek guidance.
Mm-hmm.
And remember that knowledge truly is your greatest asset.
Beautifully said. Well, that wraps up our Gold IRA deep dive.
It is fun.
We hope you found this helpful and empowering. The key to a golden retirement is informed decisions and a good plan.
Absolutely.
So keep learning, stay curious, and embrace that exciting journey ahead.